If you have to move 3 boards just to get to the one, your lumbar system might be broken. That was my shop. It didn't matter whether it was a damp basement, a cramped one-stall garage, or lumber getting wet in the rain. The problem was the same. Every project started with shuffling wood instead of building. And the part that really bothers me, I'm the organized guy. So I stopped reorganizing and I built a system where nothing can block access. It looks simple, but there are 6 intentional decisions behind it, each one fixing a different failure point that I kept running into. In my use case, or in my case, that meant building an end-loading rack within or inside this 24-foot container. But this isn't about the container, it's about the principle and why it completely changed the flow of my shop. Now let me show you how it works. Now, I've got this outside in a container. But if I were starting over inside my shop, I'd tweak one small thing that would make this work anywhere, whether it's a garage, a basement, it doesn't matter. And you might think that the biggest weakness is having my lumber stored 50 feet outside of my shop. It's not. It's actually the reason why this works. My truck backs straight up to the rack. I unload once. No carrying boards through the shop, no leaning them against the wall, no temporary piles. When I need material, I simply move it about 10 feet to the miter saw. Only cut pieces come inside. The flow changed everything. Instead of managing lumber, I'm managing projects. So when it comes to a couple of the features, there's a few things that I want to go over that I think make this really unique. One is going to be this here. This is a QR code. Now, for the way that I generally tend to do a lot of my design work is as I work at the hospital, I am a physical therapist, so on my lunch break, I'll oftentimes go down to the cafeteria and I do a lot of my design work. In that moment, oftentimes I have to question what I have for inventory, right? So there is a QR code at which I've utilized in one of my other videos. I got a full video on that. But regarding this, what I've actually done is this code allows me to, one, scan that, or at the hospital when I'm on my break, I can actually look in my phone and see exactly what I have as far as inventory is concerned, right? That way I can check my stock before I go to Home Depot. I don't want to be buying things that I don't need to, or rebuying things that I already have in stock. So it just keeps me more efficient, if that makes sense. And again, just simply protects from overbuying. So one code gives me my complete rack view from afar when I'm not here on this. And so for those of you that are curious on how I actually built the entire QR code system, well, I'll put a link in the description below for that video itself. Now, this allows me to design at work without having to guess. Okay, now, within that system of QR codes, is it technologically advanced? Yes. Does it cause excessive awesomeness? Yes, but it also has some complications. Now, one of the things that I've noticed about the way that I build, if I have to do something that stops me in the moment, like, i.e., pull out my phone, open the app, grab a board, pull it out, and then change, I'm just not going to go through all that work. And I know that about myself, right? So one of the fail-safes that I've done is I have this Clipboard system. And this is a system in which, one, I use this for our business Polytech. I also use it for Band of Brothers, right? When you're in the middle of a flow, the last thing you want to do is slow that flow down. You don't want to be stopping mid-project, like I said, pulling out the phone. But what you can do, what you notice, is I've got this board that has a variety of the different sizes. The standard nominal lumber, I'll simply write 2x8, and I get to write in by 12. So just the other day I was utilizing it. I took a 2x8 by 12, I mark it down. Simply a simple hash mark, and then once a week, once a month, kind of depending upon my flow on projects, I will actually go and I'll update that, right? Again, so this allows me to jot it down at a glance, and then I can update it later when I have time, not interrupting my flow, if that makes sense. Now, another thing you're going to notice is almost on all of the boards, whether the full pieces or some of the cut pieces, on the ends, I will actually scribe on there the actual dimensions, especially some of the cut ones, if I've got a redundancy of them. 2x4 by 21 inches, right? Again, I want to have instant recognizability for a lot of these pieces. Why? So that when I'm coming in, I can know that I'm getting the right one, right? Oftentimes when you buy wood, they've got that little label that has on the end that tells you the dimensions of the board. It's so small you can't see it, so I've just increased that. And that allows me, one, I don't have to pull a board in order to try to measure it. I actually already know. So again, if you look at the end, it'll tell me the exact length, so I can take it then to cut it. And again, it just doesn't, it helps prevent slowing me down in the moment, right? When I'm actually doing that. It reduces friction. Now, I've got that on the board, but I'm going to be honest, there's a few other things that I've done that allow me to kind of create some intentional redundancies, right? Okay, one, along the shelf, you're going to notice every 6 inches, I have this marked. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could tell you that this board is probably about 10 feet 1 inch, right? I can know that. It's, again, instant recognizability. If I don't have it written on the end of the board, I have this markings or these indwelling markings that are taking place on here, okay? So for me, I prefer to eyeball it first, right? Like this. I prefer to eyeball it. And then if I know that I need like a 71-inch board, as long as I have a little bit more than that in length, I know that I'm good to kind of take it, right? And I can do that without labeling. Now, you'll notice that there's this indwelling markings, but also I've got right here, I've got a little magnetic dock that holds my tape measure that allows me to, again, if I've got some of the boards, and I don't label every single board, there are some of them that, like this one, doesn't look, like that one's not measured. But again, that just allows me on those ones to take a quick measurement if I need to. And then when I'm done, that goes right back up here on the magnet. Now, I know having all those redundancies to some of you might seem like you're wearing a belt and suspenders at the same time. But again, I know my habits and I know my patterns. I just need to create redundancy in this way so it makes sure that it's good for me. And again, for me, I like to eyeball for speed and I like to tape measure for precision when I need it. Now, one of the other key features about this rack has to do with the fact that I'm a DIYer. I am not a professional woodworker, so my stock or my inventory fluctuates greatly. Now, I know to some of you it might appear like I have a lot, but I just recently helped a local company do some moving and I helped them build shelves, and the excess lumber I got to take and keep, right? I'd call that a win. So my stock is not normally like this. Now, there are seasons where I find that I'm not building as much as others. And in those particular cases, I will have a lot of this shelving, which will be completely vacant. So what I've done is I've created these shelves in spacing gaps to facilitate having a black and yellow tote, like something like this, right? That one's pretty heavy. But these are 15 inches in tall. So this is designed so I can put one. So on those moments where I don't have a lot of inventory, these shelf systems can absolutely switch out for being black and yellow totes. And I can fit 2 on each shelf sideways. Again, low profile, not like these where it's going front to back, but here side to side. And I found that's just a great adaptability system. And again, just to have a rack that adjusts. And 2, if I ever want to move my lumber storage to inside, this shelf system still remains useful to me in that sense. So again, the system isn't rigid. It actually adapts to my needs and my seasonal storage in the way that I just have fluctuating stock. Now, this system lives outside in a container, but if I were to rebuild my shop from scratch, I would strongly consider pulling my lower cabinets out from the wall about 18 inches. Not to add storage, but to create that hidden end access channel behind them. From the front, it would look like standard cabinetry, but behind it, it would be the same principle. Nothing blocks access. The trade-off is simple. You don't grab boards from the side. Everything loads and unloads from the end. But in exchange, nothing you ever stack in front will ever block your access. And here's where most shops still fail. Full boards are easy. Scraps are where shops fall apart. Because if moving 3 boards is frustrating, well, digging through a pile of plywood cutoffs is worse. And if you don't solve this problem, this is where the whole system eventually collapses. So here's how I handled the smallest, most annoying pieces in my shop. And if you want a full build walkthrough and the free plans, I did make a separate video breaking it down step by step. I'm going to link that right here. I'll also have it in the description right next to the QR code video. Shoot dang guys, thanks for much for watching. We'll see you next time.